first time I want to say it's the first time we've been ranked in the top 25 since 2014 preseason.
How about that? Shout out to Shane Beamer coming in with the preseason ranking history here.
It ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. The fanatic. But we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I see.
Next game up on the docket, stat guy, is the Gamecocks versus Virginia Tech. Listen, man, these are Gamecocks, man. Y'all got a lot of preseason hype come in. I want to say in the official coaches poll, y'all was 13, right?
13th.
Ooh, 13, top 15, man. I don't think that's happened preseason since Steve Spurrier.
Yeah, it's been a minute. First time, I want to say it's the first time we've been ranked in the top 25 since 2014 preseason.
How about that? Shout out to Shane Beamer coming in with the preseason ranking history here. Virginia Tech coming in, listen, I tell you what, the fans, you wouldn't be able to tell that Virginia Tech ain't, did nothing in a while by the fans on social media. They definitely think they're going to take SC to the woodshed. Just give me your thoughts on pros and cons for South Carolina versus Virginia Tech.
Yeah, so the biggest pro is that you open up with a Power 4 opponent. So it's a little stiffer competition. It's not the best. It's not some of the other teams that are out here playing people, but it's a good opening weekend test. So you don't get lulled into that false sense of security by hanging 70 on somebody that you should hang 70 on.
Right.
The con is we've lost these games before that we should have won when we've been hyped heading into the season, and it's just derailed the season off the start. And so that is you almost have to decide week one, are you going to live up to the hype or not? And they have to play a good football game, because even if they win, but it's an ugly game or it's not a clean game, the nitpicking is going to start, and the South Carolina fan base is a crazy one.
Right. Thank y'all for tuning in, man. Whether y'all joining us on Facebook or YouTube, man, it's the SEC Snap Count on the Fanatic Sports Network. We're here talking week one. We know we're in week 0, but there's no SEC football this week. But we are one day closer to week one, where we got a lot of good matchups. We've talked about Syracuse at Tennessee, Alabama at Florida State. Now we're talking about South Carolina at versus Virginia Tech in the Mercedes-Benz. We'll be talking about LSU, Clemson, and Texas, Ohio State. Is your first time here? We appreciate you showing up. Hit that thumbs up button for us and share the content, man, and get in the comments. We like to interact with our subscribers and our chatters. So I think this game is not going to be what everybody's going to make it out to be, where it's going to be sellers, maybe even against Kyron Drones, from the quarterback from Virginia Tech. I think it's more of Virginia Tech's offense versus y'all defense. You got Dylan Stewart, of course. Like I say, I think he's easily a top 3 to 4 player, defensive player in the nation. But you lost a lot in the middle. You lost wasn't Kyle Kennard the defensive player of the year in the SEC last year?
He was.
You lost a early round draft pick in Nick Imawari at safety, one of my favorite safeties in college football last year. You lost two or three linebackers. You lost Tonka Hemingway, Alex Huntley. That's a lot off that defense. Now, conversely, Virginia Tech lost 5 guys off of their offense that last year they had, not for nothing, they didn't have a juggernaut of an offense, but they did give a lot of good teams some games. I mean, they took Miami down to the wire. I don't think they lost any game outside of like one by more than one score. So I think it's going to come down to, can South Carolina stop that run? Because Kyron Drones is going to run. Virginia Tech is going to run. And can Dylan Stewart get pressure on Kyron Drones? And I think that's the matchup of the day. How do you see that playing out?
Yeah, I mean, it's big because, heading into last year, that's what I told you the key to the entire season was could we stop the run? We had struggled the previous 3 years, and we did much better against the run. Now you lose the big guys in the middle, you're replacing them. And so now this year, it's the same question again. if we have success against the run on defense and make people pass against us, our secondary will be very good again this year, even with the loss of Imamore.
Yeah, and Outlaw says Lenoris has to carry the team. If Lenoris has to carry the team, the bright spot is that might propel him, as a Heisman favorite. I think that's a good comment because I think week one is going to do a lot. You got a lot of potential Heisman candidates playing week one. You got Cade Klubnik, you got Garrett Nussmeier, Arch Manning. You got Caleb Downs on defense, probably going to get some love depending on what he do. Then you got Lenoris Sellers for sure. And if he does have to carry him and he has one of those Missouri last year or Clemson type games, like especially the Clemson game, like if he plays like he did against Clemson, I would not be surprised. Like somebody else is going to have a stellar day regardless to not be, to knock him off. T Boomer in the house. What's going on, T Boomer? Appreciate you getting in here, my guy. Shawty say VTech quarterback can give South Carolina some problems. I do think that because he is mobile. He is not as electric as a Sellers, but again, I watched him against a good Miami defense last year. I watched him, I want to say when they played they lost to somebody, Vanderbilt. They lost to Vanderbilt last year, if I'm not mistaken. But he actually played pretty good. Now, he hasn't played as good as I want to say 2 years ago, but his legs definitely can cause some problems. Again, Dylan Stewart's going to have to be, disciplined in his rush lanes so as to not run right past the guy. You don't want to give up easy first downs on like 3rd and 5 because you got a head full of steam. You know what I mean?
And something to keep an eye on that could become problematic for South Carolina. We've already lost 3 defensive ends in fall camp for the season. And it was already a position full of question marks with replacing Kyle Kennard on the opposite side. We still have the other starter, Brian Thomas Jr. You still have Greer as the backup, but that's 3 guys for 2 guys of a rotation. It's like, how you making that work? So somebody's going to have to step up that originally wasn't planning on being a guy. So somebody's going to have to step up and make a name for himself.
And we kind of talked about this on Respect the Hedges last night. We're in a day in college football where you got to be ready to go because of all the transfers and things like that. Most teams don't have that super good depth like they used to. So things like this happen. People get banged up in fall camp, and now you got to be ready. You probably came in thinking you wasn't going to play. Hopefully you was getting those mental reps on the sideline while you was watching the guys in front of you. But now it's your turn. And then also Dylan Stewart's going to have to be in shape, which I think he will. Now, on the flip side, you got Lenoris Sellers on offense. You got some wide receivers. The question what's his name? Rasul, the running back, is he gonna be cleared? And if not, is Attaway enough for at least this first game?
If Rasul isn't cleared, Attaway probably gets to start against Virginia Tech, but Matthew Fuller will be the best running back we have during that game.
Got you. So what do you like? So, Attaway, I want to say he's kind of a jittery, a little something. He's not like the between the tackles, every single carry type back. What do you like about Matthew Fuller over Attaway?
So I guess I trust Attaway more in the blocking scheme. That's part of the reason why we haven't seen Fuller yet. Right. He'll be a redshirt sophomore this year. But I like the way he runs, the way he gets behind his pads. We've seen it at spots from Attaway, but then he's also had big carries where he's kind of shown a different side of himself, and it's almost like, dang, why is this guy getting the ball? Now, will Fuller be ready for the bright lights of week 1 SEC football? I don't know, but I think if he is, I think he's the better of the 2, and while he may not get the start, he will be finishing the game.
Okay. I think that's what's because the NCAA has been dragging their feet. I don't know if they're going to speed it up and have Rasul cleared for the Gamecocks. Hopefully so, but I think you guys got enough talent to go in there and still beat Virginia Tech. Now, I think without him, it's going to be a closer game than it would be with him. You know what I'm saying? Now, you guys do got some wide receivers. You got some guys coming back in Nick Harbor, Mazio Bennett Jr., what's number 14? What's my guy's name?
Jaylen Brown.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown. I know, I'm higher on him than you are, but you got some freshmen that you looking for, and talk about that guy that you think is gonna end up making an impact for South Carolina.
Yeah, so we brought in 5 wide receivers in this last class, 4 of which were 4 stars, which was huge because obviously the depth at wide receiver last year was horrendous. But there are 2 that are pushing each other and pushing the rest of the wide receiver core to be great if they want their snaps. And that's Malik Clark and then Donovan Murph. Both bigger guys, 6'2", 6'3". Donovan Murph is a legit home run threat, over the top style guy, where Malik Clark is the body control for those like posts and stuff like that to hit kind of the deeper routes, but you trust him to go up and make the catch. But both just extremely athletic and kind of add something that we haven't seen to the wide receiver room in quite some time, since maybe the likes of an Alshon or something like that. Not saying either one of those guys are that, but
right,
they have the potential to be great at South Carolina.
So first game out, Virginia Tech. Who you think's the leading receiver? It could be a tight end as well, because you guys are replacing your tight end, who was one of Sellers' kind of get out of jail free cards last year.
My bad. I froze up. You'll ask it again.
I said that. Who do you think will lead y'all in the first week in receptions?
Nick.
I'm
going Nick Harbor. Yeah, I will tell
you. Do you think that's because they're gonna intentionally try to get him the ball, or because he's made that much of a stride in the offseason not running track this year?
I think he has made a big stride, but I think the reason that he leads us in catches week 1 is because we try to force feed him the ball. But he's actually catching it this year, unlike in years past where he struggled catching the ball. Also, if we get the ball first, whether it's from winning the toss or losing the toss, I fully expect the very first play of the game to be a deep ball over the top to Nick Harbor. Just let Lenoir wind up, chunk it 60, 70 yards through the air, and just see what happens. Do I like that idea? No, but I think that's what we see. First play, maybe even if we don't get the ball first, it might just be the first play regardless. I think they're taking a shot.
I got you. And the thing we're going to finish off talking about, so T Boomer says Sellers better not run as much this year. To be honest with you, talent-wise, I think this is a better year to do that, because he does now have Aaron Nolan backing him up. Still got Luke Doty. Aaron Nolan hasn't had snaps and things of that nature, but the talent is definitely there. And the freshman Cutter Woods, also super talented guy. So as far as talent-wise, I don't think – no, now granted, I don't know if they can make plays like Lenoir's. Lenoir's is a playmaker, and they don't have the experience that they do, but the talent is definitely there. So it's not like they're void in that quarterback room out there. All right, before we move on, give me a prediction on the South Carolina Virginia Tech.
I was going to say, and real quick, the other side to that is most of his runs last year weren't designed quarterback runs. It was escaping pressure. And so if he needs to escape pressure and not get sacked, he can run twice as much as he did last season. Just don't take the sack. So, right. As far as my prediction, you want to be a playoff team. It starts in week 1 by setting a tone and showing that you're for real. We're rolling into the bins 38-7.
We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound. Let's go eat. Turn on the fan at it. Let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gonna eat everything up off they plate?